Hi, my name's Pharaoh, and today I'm going to carry on looking into settlements. Pleased to see that a few people are now posting settlements on Reddit that are S-class, so it does suggest that we can now get settlements set up to S-class. What I've been doing is kind of a little bit slower than that. Let me just see if I can show you. I pull up Excel. Okay, that's not visible. Why isn't it visible? That's better. So I've kind of been making a little map of my settlements and kind of logging what's in the settlements with a key and trying to kind of get an eye on what the most effective things are to actually upgrade. Because this is me. I mean, I like deep diving into things. And so I'm kind of trying to get a handle on what kind of things are worth upgrading, what kind of net income you'd expect from them, etc. I probably won't keep referring back to this because it's a little bit cumbersome to keep showing a spreadsheet on a stream. But every now and again, I'll be looking at this and talking about it. So we'll see how we go on. That's very bright, though, isn't it? You know, let's take that and make it invisible. Who's here? Hi, Gary420. Hi, Ignition. Hi, Gravnaut. Hi, Alphas. Xbox is updating at last. I didn't realize it was taking that long. Is this the patched version, Gary? Or is this the first time you've been able to play with the new content? Most useful for me is a frigate fuel. I didn't even notice frigate fuel. Which kind of building is frigate fuel from? I'm just buying some dirt because I seem to be going through it at a rate of knots. I have I've started to put things that I definitely need into this starship. Let's go back to one of the settlements and see what you mean about frigate fuel. I believe I was just there. I just want to see what type of building gives that. So let's have a look. There are some people complaining that some of the production timings seem a bit off. Like you start off with a reasonable, it's not going to show it here. You start off with a reasonable time limit of say 3 hours or so. And then as you upgrade your settlements, it seems like production slows down. So they might have the calculation a bit wrong at the moment. We'll have to see. Right, I was going to upgrade this. Upgrade my nano farm. I found farms can be very productive, and also they give more options for what we can grab. I'm just going to update my stats because it might have changed in this settlement since I was last here. 16 population, same. No, it hasn't upgraded. See, that's where I'm going to be occasionally looking at my spreadsheet. If I pull it up every time, it'll be very cumbersome. Right, let's go to a settlement that actually does have positive cash. Yeah, I mean, frigate fuel would be quite handy because in a more mature save, you're always kind of grinding away at making frigate fuel. Not that you have to make lots of it, because by then your well, later on at least, your freighter will be giving you lots of updates, but module bonuses. Haven't really messed around with what's actually available. I think I just saw it. Where did I see it? There. 50 tons of frigate fuel. 1 every 8 hours, though. That's I mean, I don't have the most productive settlement. It's only got a net income of, what's that? Just over 100,000, 160,000. So I guess we could make that a little bit more productive at some point. It'd be nicer if that was 200 tons. The other settlement I haven't been to yet. Actually, I probably have been to this. I probably have got something running on this. So one of the things I'm doing is kind of trying to take note of the types of buildings there are. Because there seem to be, for instance, 2 different types of housing. There's a smaller and a larger housing complex. And of course everything's a little bit different in these autophage ones. I think I've still got something going on here to get my hand. So we have to look around. For those of you who haven't noticed, you can just look around and see the icons, so you don't have to do a storage facility, farm module, cohabitation unit. So cohabitation unit is probably an example of one of the ones that has a large number of settlers in it. And then sleep unit, as an example, is probably smaller. And then there seem to be smaller still ones. There seem to be ones that are, I haven't got an example here. If we go back to my main settlement. Which is that one. And all housing units seem to be non-profitable. So all you can really do is make them less unprofitable by upgrading them. Just consult my map a second. Yep, so if I'm in the square, it's 2 to the left of the town. So where is the square? Are we in it already? Yes, we are. Tower's that way. Yeah, so this is a small, very small habitation block. And then these are slightly larger. Advanced sleep pod as an example. And then we have the very large ones like this. Palatial dwelling in this case. Yeah, and that's the thing. I'm not sure if they've got the balance quite right with the production yet, but it's difficult to know until we're highly productive. I don't know if it will speed up. I presume it will. I presume it will speed up when we become more productive in each settlement. So I'm pretty much got everything running on this site. select. So as in the other day, I'm going to switch between my saves just and continually just improve the ones that I've got running in each save. I'm thinking that housing units, even though they are not profitable, they may be very valuable in that population will increase quicker as S-class and provide more overall production due to bodies. Yeah, these kind of things are what I'm trying to keep track of, because it's not clear. It didn't use... It's very interesting. Typical No Man's Sky thing. Middle sentence. Oh, look at that. It didn't used to matter what the population was, I don't think. But I think it probably does now. Weird, Xbox just updated, and when I started the game, I got a pop-up saying the demo is finished by full game. I wonder if the last time you played it was when there was that free demo in the expedition. Is it still... Has it just kicked out of an expedition, perhaps? That's very odd, though. Yeah, but I don't know what platform. Omniprocessor plant. That's reopened now, so let's see how that's approved. Things like farms and warehouses and kind of farms and industrial units seem to be the most profitable. And also trading places seem to be quite profitable. So that's increased by 22,375. I'm not going to focus in quite so much on this save. I'm only going to focus on one save as to exactly what happens. Because otherwise it'd just be too much data for me to try and crunch. What am I going to update next? Do I keep going with that? Or... That's only a B. Have I got organic catalyst available on this save? I should be able to craft it, but I have to make both of the things. Maybe I'll stick to the other one for now. I imagine I have it on my freighter, but I can't remember what I was doing on this save. That's another one. Crystallized helium. So crystallized helium I do not have access to on this save. So that's interesting that that's kind of stuck behind story progressor. But only going from A to S. So kind of implies you need to push the story forward and get to purple systems. Technopod. So you play every day on the Xbox, Gary? It's not just a strange thing that's happened on the Xbox itself. Upgrade to B class with 9 ion batteries. That'll have to do. Ion battery seems a lot. I hardly ever use ion batteries. But I've got 145 of them. I don't think I've got anything else on this save. Nope. I might try and get something else on this save. Policy decision. See, I don't like these. We're not in profit, so it seems crazy to do anything other than tax things, but it makes people unhappy. I don't really want to be adding maintenance when I'm trying to, so I just have to. And I know it doesn't matter really, it's just a silly piece of game, but it just feels wrong. I don't know. Am I a low taxation person? I don't know. It reveals more about me than I realise. I don't think of myself as a low taxation person. Omega Plus. Let's go out of just chatting mode. Yeah, there doesn't seem to be any tax levels in this game. We can't say set up 2 or 3 tax levels. It's like tax everybody or nobody. Now this one, I don't think this is I don't think this is a difficult one at all. Whenever this comes up, it's like, well, people could be happy, but you know, vital maintenance is vital maintenance, and it decreases our maintenance quite dramatically. So obviously we do that unless we're sorted, which we're not. We're still in debt here. So this is an example of one of the tiny sleep pods. And it's currently got 1,254 productivity and 12,544 upkeep. So it's costing a lot of money. And now it goes... See, I don't think that's really significant. And we're on S class now. So, but it must do other things. I mean, it has maximum of 6 residents here now. So, yeah, it definitely will help with things like that. As it says, room for 2 more citizens. I think on these autophage things, because I'm in kind of improving buildings mode, I haven't had any building requests. I haven't seen a building request at all. I'm wondering if you only get building requests if you're not upgrading things. I'm not really sure. Certainly I don't think I'll get another decision for a while. And then if I'm upgrading something, the next decision probably won't be a building request. One of the reasons I took a photograph from on high and turned it into a map, just in case things have changed and they build behind our backs. But I don't think they do. I think there'll still be building requests like there always were. I'm not even sure if I can get this profitable, this particular one. Need Star Silk to turn that into A class. What have we got that's not housing? It's a warehouse. It's already at A. It needs crystallized helium. I think we have purple systems on this save. I think this is the one we streamed on. But let's find out. I should be able to tell by what technology I've got installed. Yes, I've got things that require it. So ideally, I'd like a gas giant. Is that parked in a gas giant place? No. Let's see if I've got one in my teleport list. Hi, Grimy. I would say the game's running okay. The bugs haven't all been fixed with the latest update, because I was running that anyway. The last time I was streaming, I was running with the experimental branch, and the experimental branch then turned into the current patch, and there's no differences between the two. I haven't checked if there's been a new experimental branch today. Yeah, I've tried using the catalogue to select crystallized helium, and it's failed. There seems to be a bit of a bug there. I can try and demonstrate that in a bit if I don't have a gas giant. But it's taken me to just a random purple system, and then there hasn't been crystallized helium in the system. Because logically that should be what you would do in these cases. So that's gas fish, we'll go there. I need to get a clear example of that happening and maybe report it as a bug. Yeah, I think crystallized helium seems to be mostly found on gas giants. Maybe it can be found occasionally elsewhere. But for instance, we've already mined this out, obviously. I had that problem with lithium. I had to leave the system I was in and then it worked. Well, yeah, but it's like cumbersome if you're having to do that. So as I found a place that has it, so I just need to not. I still got that flickering bug. I just need to not always try and mine the same deposit. I was quite pleased to see that other people are getting this flickering bug. I've seen other streamers having it too, so it isn't just me or just a narrow number of platforms, which means that they probably will have to get around to fixing it relatively quickly, otherwise everybody's going to be reporting it. Just all the assets just kind of flickering in, or nearly all of the assets. Can you make this crystallized helium? I wonder if you can magnify it in some way. Quartzite and lithium, and activated quartzite and lithium. So that's not it's not really going to help that much. I guess you could make a little production line where you multiplying your quartzite and then turn that into lithium. Sorry, no, not lithium. This is nice. Helium. Still have to get the lithium. Can you even make lithium? I had my first seam that went down into a cave for ages. I was beginning to think they'd stop doing that, where you kind of have a small seam above ground and you mine down a bit further and it just seems to keep going down in these little patches, and then you end up in a cave. I thought it had been removed from the game for some reason. I feel like these gas giants need just a little bit more content on them. How much should it pick up? Did it all go somewhere else? A stash somewhere, perhaps. Let's get in that shit before this storm picks me up. That's the quartzite. Oh, there it is. Crystallized helium. 328. It's not very much, is it? Might have to get some more. I've had what I call dirty deposits for quite a while. I first noticed them probably about a year and a bit ago, where you get a lot of silicate in with it. It doesn't look as clean, does it? It's kind of a messy deposit, which is why I call them dirty deposits. I'm going to go out of the atmosphere for this flicker because it winds me up. But it is kind of interesting that certain building upgrades are going to be stuck behind this as a bit of a something else selected there. A bit of a barrier. I'm all for that. I don't think that's a problem, but I find it kind of interesting that bringing in these elements kind of creates a progression point which you can't go beyond until you've completed stories, unless someone just gives it to you in the anomaly, maybe, or in multiplayer, which in itself is a kind of progression. If you're playing with friends and someone has done it, I don't see any problem with them lending you something that they've got, because there's kind of cooperation, so it kind of works. Nicer deposit. undermine the deposit so I can get out of the storm. I don't know why I don't use my mouse in this context. It's the only time that using the mouse for me is better. Can't think of any other time I use a mouse. Maybe there is, I don't know. Maybe some building things when you can use the wheel for rotation, things like that. I think one of the things that's stuck behind this purple system layer is in that tower. I don't think you can upgrade the tower to allow you to look for whichever one of the things you have to get to S-Class. One of them is stuck behind the purple level. Learning words. You know, I find the because I've been playing this game ever since I started with a controller. I think the very first day I turned No Man's Sky on, I thought, oh, this game needs a controller, and immediately bought one because it just felt like a game that required a controller. I had an old controller, but it was kind of really flaky, so I immediately bought a new one. And then I immediately realised that buying cheap controllers was a stupid idea because the controller was dead within 6 months. Because I'd just been playing the game for too long and killed the controller almost immediately. So I bought another cheap controller, didn't learn the lesson immediately, killed that one too, and then spent some decent money on a good one. Later on, spent some decent money on another good one. Considering that it's probably the only game I use a controller for, it's cost me a lot of money. And they think we wouldn't buy extra content on for No Man's Sky. And I've probably spent a couple of £100 on controllers just to play No Man's Sky. Yeah, Ignition, it just feels like the right control mechanism for this game. It's like they designed it very clearly for the console and never quite got out of that mindset. Also, it makes glitch building a lot easier. More easy to hit simultaneous buttons rather than a simultaneous mouse click and keyboard click. Or especially the timed ones. Do you use a controller for all games then? Is that what you're implying there? What's the I can't remember what it's called. there's a particular Steam option that allows you to key your movement completely to 180 degrees. You can kind of just choose which direction you look based on where your mouse moves, not where your controller moves. I think some people play professionally with that, but I don't think it's very common. I can't remember what the thing's called because I don't use it. You can do it on the Steam Deck. This is the first update in a long while that's had me dust my Steam Deck off, because it's kind of the thing where you want to just check in on that thing you left running. I never used to play with control. It was always, except for Space Game. I think that might be the thing. One of the other reasons that I used to play. Pardon me. I used to play things like Freelancer with a controller, and one of the other more role-playing related space games. I think it's just the it's either that or you go full kind of HOTAS for some games. I haven't played another space game for a long while. I haven't come across one that I really wanted to play. I realised that Skyrim was controller fails, there was no choice. I mean, so many console games are, aren't they? I was toying with the idea at one stage, I never got round to it, of trying, what's it called? Returnal. Because I liked the idea of the game, but I never actually committed to buying it and trying it out. Might get around to it at some point. Feels less pressing now. That would definitely be controller based. Being a console game primarily. What was I going to do? I was going to do something with crystallized helium. I can't remember which. No, that's S. One of these over here. Oop, that's dirt. Seems to be an inconsistency about whether it displays an icon. Is that because it's still a C? I don't think it is. No, it's an A. So why doesn't that have an A floating anywhere above it? And yeah, these ones do. Wanted that. Dirt. Wasn't a sleeping pod. think it was a housing block. Was it even this? Does anybody remember what I was looking at that sent me off on this lithium, not crystallized helium thing? Maybe I'll look at my spreadsheet and see if I can remember what type of building it would have been. It would be an industrial, something like an omniprocessor plant or autonomous storage facility. But I wasn't actually upgrading it. And you don't need to, because while you're upgrading, they're easy to find. Because all you need to do is clear off any active thing in your office, and then they will just highlight. It will say you've got something updating, and it will show with an icon. Maybe the game's gaslighting me. Maybe there's nothing that needs it now. They've all changed. But that hasn't happened on any of the things I've documented in my spreadsheet. I'm confused. Let's get a good picture of how many buildings there are. Well, that's what I'm wondering, is if I did come to the wrong settlement. I thought... I certainly don't seem to have anything... don't seem to have anything... I don't seem to have anything that's currently being built here. So there's two warehousey type things there. There's that thing. I think that's a housing development. Maybe it's this thing. Hi, Lucian. Good evening or good afternoon from here. Let's go to the other settlement just so I'm not looking around it. Did you look it up? Automated warehouse. Housing block. Commercial dwelling. Common places plant. It is in the auto-based settlement. Small house, sleeping pod. Why is it not showing? Sleeping pod, small house, luxury habitation pod, domestic unit, autonomous nutrition module, advanced sleeping pod, housing block, palatial dwelling, omniprocessor plant. There it is, automated warehouse. Maybe I just wasn't close enough to it. Thanks very much. It's always handy when people can actually look to see what you were doing. Yeah, so if I wanted to, if it gets to the point of completion, it seems that there's a timer on the completion, but it will actually just unveil itself if I don't come back after a certain length of time. But if you come back and it hasn't been unveiled, all you need to do is come here and clear off any pending decisions. Make sure it's definitely in your log as the right place, and then it will take you to the right place, which we should be able to do in the next save we go to, because we've just done both of these now. I did want to save already. Okay, so if we quit to mode select, we can demonstrate that. Right, after Titan. I don't think after Titan had access to purple. I'm not sure. Whoa. I've had that happen a few times. Definitely some texture that's not. I can walk on it. Maybe it's properly rendered now. The mesh wasn't there for some reason. Right, so demonstrating, there should be something to unveil here. If we go to, you can feel there's a bit of a lip here. I wonder if that's related to it. So if I make a policy decision, so camouflage measures or research industrial tech, I'm presuming this isn't a very well established base, so it probably needs the tech. See if we fall out again. Nope. You see, now we've got the icon immediately. We don't have to worry about finding which one needs unveiling, because it shows with that little settlement icon, and also it's up there at the top on my up there in the compass. Okay, so reopen building. This is habitation, so it's just going to make it less, hopefully, it's going to make it a little bit less expensive. Happiness improved 1%. Room for one new citizen. And doesn't say anything else. Maybe it didn't change anything else. What level is that now? A. Got anything profitable here? Housing block, sleep pod, collective dwelling, Is it everything? Habitation unit, storage unit, agricultural unit. Someone zoned this place. I have a feeling these are already... Oh no, that one's not been done yet. And neither's that. Posts on my base, etc. I don't think I've ever had it fall through. I don't think I've ever noticed a pattern of falling through at trading posts. Occasionally for bases, yes. That seems to be related to when you first come into a settlement, well, come into a place, like teleport in and things like that. And then I did have it happening not long ago, just wandering along a landscape. I was streaming at the time, so you may remember, where it just kept falling through. Settlement visitor. Well, I would definitely accept a tangy cheese synthesizer. One thing I have noticed, so far I have sent out probably about 7 or 8 expeditions, which I would never used to do before because there was a high likelihood that people would die. Nobody's died yet. They may have changed that. Anyway, so now there should be a building on marked. It is indeed. It's a nano farm. And it's now S. How productive is it? Citizen productivity increased by 31,797. Looks like that might be it. Life support power low. Put it on the male voice so that hear all of the different options, because I haven't. He's a bit posh sometimes. Technology recharged. Yeah. So we are actually in net positive, but 137 hours. I don't know if that will do like it used to, where it will, after 24 hours it will reset. I don't know. Yeah, Alpha. So I've only switched to it because I haven't heard all of his things yet. Who was it? Was it you saying... He sounds very dismissive when you beat the pirates up. Maybe have to test that. Maybe have to turn him up a bit as well. So that was just the 2. We've done both of those. Oh, is it ignition? We're saying it. Maybe we'll go to a space station and try it. Just break up the monotony of just going from station to station. Actually, let's maybe buy some dirt while we're at it. Which looks like that's what we've been doing before. There's only 5 left here, so we've obviously just bought that. Just turn the voice up a second, so it's in general, isn't it? So, no pirate missions there. Let's go to another dirt place. Since the patch, I haven't heard any extra vocalizations that we were getting the other day.
Product received.
Should put that in the starship first. Let's put that in the starship as well. Oh, I can't. Yeah, this save really needs a bit of space in here. You can tell I haven't played this much since those streams. I don't think I've got any other ships either. Got that I needed to sell. I can do that now. Yeah, I can imagine if you've not done much trading and it suddenly says it needs something you've never heard of. Or vaguely remember. Can't bother though. That'll do. We're getting flickering here as well, look. Out that window. So
Units received. Units received. Units received.
yeah, enormous metal cogs. They used to be called something else. I think they're just called metal cogs now. They reduced some of the lengths of some of the trading item names about a year or so ago, maybe longer. Oh, I didn't actually. Do what I was supposed to do here, which was to look to see if there was a pirate mission. I suppose I could always go to an outlaw system to test it. Go to the anomaly. I didn't see anything that used welding soap. What needed welding soap? High economy advanced materials. Doesn't look like I've got one here. Ah, there we are. So it's one of the profitable ones anyway. Which economy's welding soap. On my list, but I've got such small writing on this at the moment. I'm making a newer version with bigger writing. So technology. Superconducting fiber is what we need.
Product received.
Find it, but let's go to the anomaly, see if there's a pirate one there. I'm hoping that some of these outstanding issues with settlements will be fixed in a way that means I don't have to revert back to an older save, which sometimes can happen. Because the only older save I've got is before the one where we were doing loads of pirating to get loads of S-class modules for the freighter. I don't really want to have to do that again. Pirate missions. Oh, just changed. It must be a 10-minute. Yep, 10 minutes past. Hunt dangerous pirates. There we go. sound drops if you don't have the music. I think it must be the music kicks in and goes louder. But the sound drops even if you don't have the music on, which is very odd. We don't know if they will reduce the upgrade times. I don't think they will. Most of them aren't that long. It's only the bigger items, like some of the smaller ones are like 20 minutes. But the larger buildings are a couple of hours, but I think they're just balanced that way. Keep getting to scan.
Hostile ships approaching.
I was against it when they initially increased the number of interactions we had when they first introduced settlements. It felt like they bound to pressure. And I always felt like it should be a slow burn part of the game. Something that just develops with your save as you go along. Because they give it to you, they give them to you quite early on.
Hostile ships defeated. Hostile ships approaching.
I was thinking that how would people feel if in abandoned mode you did get the auto? So then you could theoretically get settlements in abandoned mode. Because there's one race left, which is the race that's always been killed. But if I wasn't just so focused on the new content, which I always am, but partly because I stream it, I would probably just let it run in the background and not worry about it too much. So like settlements would get upgraded as and when. I mean, let's face it, that's what we've been doing for the last 3 years. The whole autoface thing, like once you get past a certain level in Abandoned Mode, you get the autophage storyline kicking. I think it'll just be interesting. I'm not suggesting that everybody would like that, but I just wondered what people would think, whether they would like it or not. So you start in an abandoned system, but you can eventually meet these previously hidden race.
Hostile ships defeated.
Defeated. Yeah, it's just got that slight posh voice to it. They got in a radar actor, darling. Hostile ships defeated. I mean, they're not compulsory. I'm not saying you have to, but would you object to it being part of the system? I mean, I quite like the fact, personally, that all those people that say I can't stand all those people that can't stand settlements can now just not have a settlement, whereas before you had to. Hi, seriously. Posh sounds Protoss. I don't know what Protoss means. Is that a gaming reference? Or a it's not ringing a bell. Is it a sci-fi reference? Protoss. I'll have to look it up. Hi, cue ball. Sounds like Transformers voice. Yeah, I can see that one. I can imagine that. Get into an exocraft and it says, transforming. Starcraft aliens. Oh, okay. I'd choose freighters with creepy holographic ghost NPCs and a band over. Well, yeah, that would be great. I'm not suggesting that wouldn't be good. We have discussed this before, having like zombie freighters with zombie get or kind of spooky undead things. What was it I was thinking the other day? I was in a stream talking about it. I would really like it if they had an underwater race now, with underwater settlements and new underwater building parts. That'd be nice. Feels like the race that's missing. Didn't get rid of those while I was there. So, do I have anything outstanding? I don't think I did. Have a quick look. Abandoned group mission. Oh, did I not? Did I just finish? Oh no, I didn't go back to the terminal, did I? Try and jump over that. Very often it catches me in it. Because I forget to jump earlier. Right, where are we? Complete mission.
Units received.
Yeah, maybe proto-Gek stuff. I mean, the Gek are the most aquatic of races, so you could make the first spawn a bit more aquatic, couldn't you? That'd be quite interesting. They bring back the first spawn, but they're not as we expect them to be. They're an underwater race with unusual, or maybe they were driven underwater. All the ones that survived went underwater. Some other secret law that explains why they're an underwater race. And they have to tie up a couple of things with the autophage, I guess, but we're mostly at the end of that storyline now, I feel like. So we need a new one to kind of follow. This is where I was falling through the floor. So we're doing this one, aren't we? What am I currently upgrading? That one over there. Let's go into my I don't want to just give away the glyphs for some random system I happen to be settled in. So I'll zoom in slightly. I can't see anything being developed. Is this it? Yeah, this looks like it. Yeah. I think sometimes if you go up higher, you can't see the development. Probably rendered now, so it probably called me a liar. Yeah, you can see it now. Right. So make a save. One thing I definitely do is put a save point in the door of each settlement. Especially as I'm doing this, kind of going from one save to another without leaving the settlements. So we're back to original. I don't know if I've got anything that's due to finish. But I can demonstrate what I mean now about things that are hidden behind purple. This, in order to get this to S class, I needed to use a purple product. And then that means that look at the way it turns around like that. That means that I can now scan for space anomalies, which means I don't need anomaly detectors in this system. I think I've already got because I've been here for ages, I've got loads of stuff marked, so I can't just demonstrate this scan for buildings. I've got just about everything, every type of building marked at the moment. Yeah, so this, I reckon this must be getting close to the requirements for S-Class. I guess it needs higher happiness. And maybe a little bit more productivity. So we're back to my Excel spreadsheet. So this is my original save. I was upgrading the terranium unit, and it won't be complete until 215. So we're past 215. So terrarium unit, which was Q, which was that one over there behind my save point. No, what's it called? Trade point. Make a note of this. Excuse me while I mess around with my spreadsheet off screen. Let's go on to A. It's got pulls up calculator. 72,143 minus 38,400. 421. It's 33,722. What? That's strange. That seems to have gone down in productivity. 72,143 minus 38,421. Yeah, that was at a net income of 37,000, and now it's at a net income of 33,000. Well, let's keep going. I wonder if something else changed to cause that. Now imagine if we could build aquariums to showcase our fish collection. Well, they kind of teased us, didn't they? Because they put this tank in that doesn't do anything, apart from allows us to fish for specific class. So if I upgrade this now, I think it will only find A and S class fish in it. But we can't see what's in there. It's almost like they heard us all ask for aquariums, and then they didn't give it to us, but they gave us this instead. I do need to upgrade that at some point and test out, because at the moment, if I fish in it, I fish for quite a while. I need to remember if this has actually got a fishing rod. Yes, it does. I've got no bait at all in here. Ignition's taking the mickey because he knows I'm not a big fishing fan. Not that I would be against aquariums. So that's B. I have a feeling that's being set by the class of the pond. That's B as well. It's also weird that we can't see the holograms here, but I guess we don't really need them. That's B as well. I'll do one more. I don't think this is a coincidence that they're all the same class. Class of this is currently A, so I wonder if it's giving us at least the class one below the class of the pond, because previous got that thing in the background with two geckos spinning around. Some people say it's how they mate, the way they kind of spin around just other direction, just here. Where the NPCs just kind of spin around on one spot together. Maybe we'll have a baby to name soon. Well, I'm thinking it's one below the class. So if I was to upgrade this next, maybe we'll test it next time. It would start getting A's. It wouldn't get S's necessarily. I did get an 8, so there's a chance of getting the higher ones. But I haven't seen a single C since I upgraded it. It's also purely reflecting. It's like it doesn't have its own colour, it's purely reflecting the sky colour. Unless it's just kind of a grey colour. Oh, I got an S. So you can get anything above, I just haven't seen a C. And I've got no bait at all in there. So that's suspicious. I did get some coral though, so you can... But that might have been before I upgraded it. So yeah, needs further research, but I suspect that's how it works.
Weather warning, incoming storm.
I didn't check to see if there was actually a interaction there. I mean, if you're gonna have a fish tank kind of thing, settlements would be the perfect place for them, I think. Right, I have been experimenting by sending these out every single time, so not quite sure. Oh, we are in an auto finish. And so far, none have died. I've had no casualties since this update. Doesn't look like I've got a update yet, so I think the building I had was over here somewhere. I'm pretty sure it must be still building. There it is. Oh, it's got a tick. Did I have some other? Just to check. There must be another thing that I need to do here. Because you need to clear it off before the icon becomes visible. No. So I think that threw it off, the fact that it was... Oh, I know. The log probably switched to the expedition. It did. So that's another thing to note. If you want to find the building you've been working on, if you pick up an expedition, make sure you go back to the actual settlement. And then the icon will show up. I think I've sent about 8 out. I haven't been counting exactly, but I haven't I deliberately not shied away from them, whereas I would never send expeditions out previously because of the high likelihood you'd lose population. Back to my spreadsheet. So this has changed from... Oh no, it's still an autonomous storage facility. It hasn't changed its name, this one. So it's changed to A. And the productivity's gone up significantly. 61,055, take away 34.040. Yeah, that's gone up from 4,442 net income to, hang on, 61,055, 54,040. Gone up to 27,015. And it now needs 250 crystallized helium. Which I'm not sure if I've got on this save either, but I might actually pursue that on this save. So between us, we've sent out, with your 2 and my 8 or so, we've sent out about 10. We haven't had any casualties. I think they must have changed it. Settler request pending in the other 2 stations. Have I got a gas giant on this save? I did speed run purple systems on this save, so I should be able to find some. Where's the door? There it is. Click on this system as well. So let's see if the marking it in the log works again on this one, because it hasn't been working for me very well. Is it exotic? Yes. It hasn't got a mission. Go back out. Go back in. Nothing. Switch it and switch it back again. Nothing. Let's jump to a different system. Actually, let me just double check I have got purple systems here. Yep, I do. Oh, I don't have an Atlantic drive in this thing. That might be making the difference, I guess. So let's we'll start, see if we've got the stuff to build one.
Technology installed.
Living glass. Should have plenty of glass. Just don't have the lubricant. Don't have the things here. Let's go to my freighter. I missed a comment about aquariums. Aquariums or even wooden boards with the fish model on it would do the trick for me. But what about a hologram device showing a selected fish from your collection? Well, I feel like almost everything we can catch now has a representation in the wild. So it could be a little bit like the wonder projectors in terms of selecting which fish from your catalogue that you want to put in it. That wouldn't be that hard. There might be 1 or 2 fish that we haven't got, but I'm not sure. Let's have a quick look at the fish catalogue and have a look to see whether there's things in there now that we haven't got. Where is it? It's in collected knowledge. Done it for a while. Wonders, fishing records. I haven't even got the complete catalogue in here, but I have got everything in grey because I've done it on a different save. So we've got crabs, we've got those kinds of fish, we've got eels. We maybe don't have that. Not sure, we maybe do. We have those kinds of fish, we have those kinds of fish. I think we have that kind of fish. Starfish maybe we haven't got. We have all of... We don't have octopuses yet. We have oysters or clams of some kind. We have rays. Do we have turtles? I don't think we do. We do have shrimp. We don't have snails. Nothing. We do have squid, well, jellyfish type things. Yes, we have lots of jellyfish actually. We do have squid. Yeah, there's maybe still a few holes in our catalogue that we don't have their holograms for. We couldn't just use the equivalent of a Wonders catalogue for. What was I doing again? I was going to my freighter. So I should just be able to build it if I can do it. Yes, I do seem to be able to. Is it just the one? Be sure, we'll abandon the search and we'll go back into it and do it again. Frustrating thing is that every 2D icon in the game is a flattened 3D image. Well, not all of them. I mean, I guess we have starfish on rocks, but I don't think we have starfish as an item. And we definitely don't have octopus in this game. They do seem to have them in Light No Fire, though. Oops. That's not... It's not picking that up at all. I honestly think this is just broken. At least for the purple items. Some things you can pick up.
Hostile ships approaching.
I think in this save I just don't really need to worry about beating pirates. I don't know if we can assume they definitely made a 3D model just to make the 2D one. But they do have it in a different game, so I It's certainly an easier way of getting a piece of artwork, I suppose. It would have been easier to just fly in front of the door of the freighter. Still nothing. Let's choose one of the other purple items. Is there some hidden icon somewhere that we're not spotting? I just think it's a bit broken at the moment. Doesn't seem to be doing it. Not even in my log now. I've got recipes. What am I doing? Current mission. We're at least getting current mission now. So that's working for that one. But I doubt we have any crystallized. If I do it in here now, it says crystallized helium-rich planet detected. Scan target a planet, and I don't think you will find any crystallized helium just randomly on a planet. I don't think you do. So now if we jump out of this system to a non-purple system, yeah, you mentioned that earlier, so I thought I'd give it a try. So now if I make sure we're still in that position on the log. Yes, we are. Maybe go out and go in. Black hole, Atlas Station, Galactic Core, free explore. We'll do one more abandoned search, one more mineral, one more selection, crystallized, free explore. Nope. Right, we're just going to have to do a search for a gas giant. Is there anything else on a gas giant that you can only get on gas giants? Can't think of anything. What's going on here? It just seems to be not exploring properly. Feels like I've broken the galaxy map now. Because I can't even select a planet. No, I can now. Well, that's not a gas giant, but that's a giant. That's a gas giant. So there are gas giants in range. I just think that particular search is broken. Maybe I have to make a report on it. This will be the first gas giant I've been to on this save. My first planet I went to the other day that had higher waves. I've not actually been to one before. When I went back to really look at the waves properly, it wasn't storming. Locate it again. Crystallize helium. Plenty of technology around here somewhere, because there's two burning broken technology things. That's one. That one's to the right there. Might as well grab those because I haven't got all the building parts yet. Where did I see it? Like a smaller deposit. It wasn't even using a small thing. That's not very successful.
Extreme temperature detected.
Definitely a Rada voice.
Extreme temperature detected.
I trained at the best Viking voiceover academy.
Extreme temperature detected.
you know who I am?
Extreme night temperature detected.
I'm trying to hear an Alan Rickman impersonation. I'm not very good at remembering voices. I don't mind trying to mimic voices, but I need to hear the voice to mimic it. They all drop into very generic accents by just trying to approximate. There's nothing nearby. Maybe I should do the thing on the planet now. Again, theoretically it should be doing this, shouldn't it? I've got crystallized helium located as a substance. It should be on my target scanner, but it isn't. I just think maybe they don't want us to do this one, and it's just an accident that it's even on the list. No, it is, look. Oh, maybe there's just no other one nearby. It's not quite Simon Callow voice. Not quite that kind of depth, but it certainly feels RADA. Funny if it was a Brian Blessed style voice. Oh, that's a tiny. Not on the right thing now. Side around. Yeah, that's definitely a dirty deposit, as we were talking about earlier. Nothing there at all. Midsummer Murders, yeah, that kind of thing. Not super distinctive, but definitely British and has been to RADA. Why is it not done both? Did it do both at once? Odd. I think I've got all of the things anyway. was watching 4 Weddings and a Funeral for the first time all the way through yesterday. I found it so annoying. Just felt like some of the characters were just not written at all. Just cardboard cutout characters.
Extreme light temperature detected. Extreme light temperature detected.
This is one of those deposits that's gone down to the cave.
Extreme light temperature detected.
Not finding a decent deposit here, am I? I'm just finding scrubby little seams.
Extreme light temperature detected.
Am I even getting any there? No, I'm just getting salt. It's almost like a mixed seam. Let's fly over to that one.
Technology. Recharging. Recharging. Recharged.
Did the female voice used to do that? Like, as you do it more than once, it kind of interrupts itself. I have watched Morse, so it's a long while ago that I last watched Morse. It was never my favourite thing. It's one of those murder mysteries where sometimes you could just immediately work out who it was. Other times maybe not, but just every now and again there would be just like, well, it's obviously going to be that person as soon as you meet them.
Technology. Recharged.
Recharged. I'm going to try the see what the female voice does when we do multiple things. See if it is just the male voice.
Technology recharging.
I think it's just because it's quicker.
Technology recharging.
You can't easily go between them quick enough. Whereas the male voice is a bit slower, so it's forced to do it. Maybe it was the male voice all along and they've just slowed it down. They sped it up for the female voice. This is another one of those scrubby, not quite what you want. Half silicate powder. No, I never watched that one. much have I got now? Probably nowhere near enough. 714, and I don't think I've got any a different one. So that's enough for a couple, maybe, not quite. How much does it need again? So I'll look at my spreadsheet. 250, so I've got enough for a couple. Got enough for 3. Was it bigger than it was?
Acknowledging. Recharge.
Well, that should be enough for a little while. At least it's making us go to gas giants. So they have another purpose other than just being there.
Extreme temperature detected.
Maybe installing a bit of technology we only have to do once. It's a settlement nearby. Yes. I've just finished looking for the mats, basically. I was getting frustrated with it not letting me actually find the mats. Pinning just wasn't going ball. But we found one quite quickly anyway. In the meantime, they've all got settlement requests. I wonder what we've got. Could be a test for if you're not upgrading something, will it drop in a build request? But I don't think I've got any space to build in this particular. Yeah, it's an authorized mission thing. At least on my side, they all seem to be timed together. So if I get one mission, I seem to be getting lots of missions. I don't know if that's a pattern across everybody's. This is still, it's only 47% complete there. So it wasn't this settlement that we were doing. Ouch. Throw yourself into a doorway. Is it this one? force an event. There's no real reason not to. Settlement debt, but settlement debt comes after you've actually made yourself profitable, and we're still not profitable yet, so it's not going to make that much difference. It just slows things down. Save them in. Okay. So this is updated on my spreadsheet. Which is it's gone to S. It was 37,300. That's definitely increased. 100,663. Take away 82,024. 68,639. And it was on 37,000, so it's gone up just over 30,000. It's doubled. 68,639. It's interesting to know quite how profitable you can turn an individual building. It doesn't give us that knowledge until we actually do it. So like it says, if you do this, the productivity will go up this much. But they all seem to be of a certain similar pattern. So that was a farm. Storeroom, I think that's potential. Nutrition module, that'd be a farm. It's already S. Right. Done everything I need. Overseer's office, specialty trade hub, hydroponics bay. Let's see if that one's already S. No, that's A, but it needs dirt. Still a C. Maybe I'll do this one. I might need some caffeine. Well, if they update the what's it called? Got the name of the save editor person. Goat fungus. If they update the goat fungus save editor, there might be a potential to have exporting of settlements there, I guess. Now that we've got more than one, maybe something that he could add. Approved Starship Dock, approved Marketplace. So this is construction. This is the first construction I have seen since the new update. It's taken ages to get out of construction. Approved Marketplace, Starship Dock. Let me just have a quick look at... At least it tells you actually what kind of productivity. In fact, it tells you all the stats that will improve. That's handy. So it seems like the marketplace would be a better idea. Does that mean that anything else that's upgrading I won't be able to? I've got another decision to make. I'm on the expedition again, so that's in progress. How long's that got to go? 5 minutes, and this is... So we'll definitely see that expedition come back before the end of the stream. We probably won't see that one because we're already at 2 hours 20. They don't usually go beyond 2.5, 3 hours. Is there an icon, or is it just taken over because we've got one building? There we go. Because it's got one building, it's taken that over. So I wonder if it opened the other one automatically. Have a quick look around the other buildings. Did I make a note of what one I upgraded? Hang on. No. Now, I was wondering, now that we've got a building request and we know that they're not auto-building, I was wondering if in Light No Fire in the trailer, whether we're seeing a form of settlement as opposed to somebody building a base. Maybe have a look at that in a minute. Because now we've got these kind of class markers on every single base type and building type. It kind of feels a bit familiar. Another construction site requires attention. It's the only construction site that seems to be requiring attention is this one. So it does seem like the others have auto-completed. So that's the silicate powder that needs. Here, there's probably nothing going on. No, I don't think... this one seems like a bit of a big one to update. I mean, if he's going to update it, he probably needs to really dig into the settlement pages. Obviously, you can use the... It's not working. You can use it to... do a JSON edit. Nom nom, not pom pom. That's the other one. That one is integrated better with the assistant for No Man's Sky. You can do inventory stuff if you join them together. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have a quick look. I'm going to show you what I mean in the Light No Fire trailer. Of course, the Games Fest no-show upset a lot of people, but it was only ever leaked that Hello Games might be there. It was never definitely confirmed. Okay, we don't want the sound. Let's turn that off. And then let's show the browser. Hang on, let's put that maximum first. Yeah. Okay, here we are. I'll try and pause it at the right spot. And they come out of here. Not got it on the highest quality, but then as I'm streaming, it's probably not a bad idea. Now these, is this a settlement or are these buildings? Like that there, on the right of the entrance to that building, you've got, just here, you've got something that looks like it's full of icons. I wonder if that's the equivalent of our letters we see on our settlement buildings. And this is actually a settlement. So if we were to scoot back a little bit, is this an NPC or a PC? I mean, at the moment, he's just got the same kind of clothing on as other PCs seem to have. But then they might not be at a stage where they've actually differentiated PC models and NPC models. This guy carrying wood, is that an NPC? Is this real-time strategy like? Is this kind of setting them to do things? Or is it, as Gravnaught's saying, multiplayer? We all assumed it was multiplayer with other players. But now I'm starting to wonder, especially with that marker, this marker here that is just outside the building, that now suddenly feels a bit reminiscent to the kind of thing we're seeing in this update in Beacon. If every building has got a little marker outside, does that indicate it's a settlement type of thing? That one has one as well. You can't. It's harder to spot on that building. But there's just down here, there's another one just in near the doorway. Don't think there's any other examples. We've got a building here, but got some kind of marker there. Some debate over as whether that floating island thing is actually a build or a point of interest. This doesn't feel like a build or settlement area. I don't think, we know from, if you do a kind of beat per beat for this trailer and No Man's Sky, there are certain trailers that kind of match it almost scene for scene. So I suspect that just as in No Man's Sky trailers, you often see an NPC walking towards a ship, jumping in it, and then taking off with a lot of other NPC player characters rather. So we have a player character now kind of looking around, and then we see somebody take off, and then we see a bit of flashing, and then we see someone jump onto their mount and fly off with others doing the same. We see that pattern a lot in No Man's Sky trailers, where people also jump into their ships and fly off in a rough formation together. So I don't think it's supposed to indicate a squadron. I think it's supposed to indicate multiplayer. You can see a bird just up ahead flying, but It kind of just flashes out. So anyway, it's just a question I have. After seeing the beacon update, it just feels like it feels similar to this, in that now each building we have here has this little thing here, which is an interaction point, and they mostly have these floating elements here. That little thing just outside the door, to me, reminds me of like a combined version of these. So yeah, I don't know. I wonder if maybe we are seeing a cut down version of settlements, and maybe settlements have always been a cut down version, because they would have been working on light no fire for a very long while. How many years ago did settlements first crop up? Let's have a look on the in the release log a second. What was it? Was it Endurance? Or just around that time, wasn't it? Maybe not Endurance itself. Hang on, I can probably do a... Frontiers, yes. So Frontiers was... we got a date on that. Sometimes it's easier to look for the patch just after for the dates. So August 2021, late August, early September 2021. So they would have been working on Light No Fire at that stage, but I wouldn't have thought it would be that far down the line. I reckon they've probably been doing it for about 5-6 years. So yeah, maybe they might have already started working on it. So maybe when playing in single mode, you have NPC assistants recruited to your private tribe. Kind of, yeah. I suspect that what we see in No Man's Sky as settlements, we will see a similar thing, almost like a not quite as developed as a strategy game, but similar. We have like a home base kind of concept that's similar to a settlement, I suspect, with NPCs running around doing the required actions. It's just a guess. It just makes me think maybe that's what they're going for, a more real-time strategy approach to building out a settlement. Maybe multiplayer, maybe more than one person would be able to use such a thing. Yeah, I think you can trace back the first mentions and what they've said. I think you can say 5 years previous to the trailer's unveiling, as at a guess. It's not I don't think they specifically say exactly, but I think they say, I think I'd have to look back at the original, not trailer, but the original thing when they were in the interview in the game's awards, the game awards ceremony, which I haven't got handy. I think he gives a clue there roughly how long they've been working with. Oh, I did have that expedition that was coming back, which one was actually... Oh, yes, available there, where we just were. So go back to the autophage one. The original Twitter post does say 5 years. I thought I'd heard 5 years from somewhere. And it's also it kind of ties in with when they actually said that they were developing a secret game, or a game that they weren't telling us about. That was about 3 years previous, and it implied they'd been doing it for a while. And then the next time they mentioned it in an interview, they didn't mention what the game was. They said something like they were further along than they had been at the equivalent stage for this game. Presumably because some of the work was already done with the engine and stuff. Debrief it here, don't you? Yeah, debrief settlement expedition. So yet again, that's probably the 9th one I've done now, and I haven't had any deaths. It just says they returned, gives you a bit of flavor text about what they found, and then you either donate the expedition proceeds or claim the proceeds in nanites for ourselves. And obviously for this particular settlement, it's probably worth it. But even then, that kind of goes into a bit of a black hole. Because if we look at this particular... Oh no, it's actually... We're actually in the black here. So it doesn't go into a black hole, it speeds up that timer a bit. No, that was for this update, the Deaf Kids. The Deaf Kids were locked in a room specifically for No Man's Sky beacons for the Switch edition. So they've probably been... Was it for the last year, he said? Just outrageous, isn't it? We need to free those Deaf Kids. Storm the doors. That's going to take a while. So I think I'm kind of at the point where I'm probably call it a day. This is the main save I'm focusing on in my spreadsheet. And the other saves I'm kind of just popping in and out of. So I think what I've discovered so far, if I go back to my spreadsheet, it's a little bit bright, unfortunately. But I wonder if I can make it slightly less bright by going to there. Yeah, that's better. Makes it a little bit more clear. So we're at the original one. This has got... That's now changed. Hang on. Okay, yeah. If we look at the actual net income for each building, which doesn't actually add up to the full income. There seems to be other factors at play for that. So hang on. I don't want to do that. I want to do that. No, from there to there. That's better. What merge cell? I don't have a merge cell though. All right, it's not letting me right now. I'll work that out another time. The most productive thing we've got here seems to be the autonomous nutrition module, so a form of farm. So theoretically, if you increase each of the farms, I'm doing that one at the moment, they seem to be the most effective if you happen to have any. If you don't have a farm building, then you're a bit stuck. Starports can give up to 30 grand of net income. Specialist markets kind of into the mid 40s. So they seem to be pretty good. But the biggest things seem to be farms. So focus on farms seems to be the first thing. This one here is a hydro silo. I'm not sure. That's the tower. I'm not sure if that's really worth pushing to an S unless you really want that ability to search for space anomalies. Yeah, I have to put my labels on. It took me ages to do that. Yeah, if you're going to do it, you've got to do it right. If you're going to really deep dive into these things, you want to be able to quickly find your building. The engineering bay. So there what I called starports. They can be quite profitable. So they're kind of second or third tier. But it definitely looks like farm buildings are the way to go. Anything that seems to give nutrition benefits. So the way to maximize your system is only to allow the creation of new buildings that would be most profitable. Potentially, but this is where there's a big question mark over exactly how settlements develop. So for instance, we look at my map of my settlement here. Yeah, you can see the whole thing. I'm kind of covering it up because I've moved it so it's not quite so bright. It's quite a little bit oversaturated, but at least you can see it. I'm not sure if there are any other building spots on this particular site. And I have a feeling that a fully developed settlement will always have the same buildings. So there are no more buildings than potential. I don't think there are any. The only choices you're being asked to make are which order to build buildings in, not necessarily which buildings you will end up with. I think you will always end up with the same buildings once the settlement is fully developed. So because it seems to be predestined what you will get, then when it asks, do you want to build something, and there are two different options, obviously build the most profitable ones first. So if it asks you to build a farm or a trading post, then the farm is probably going to be the most profitable in the long term if you're upgrading it. If it asks you to build a trading post or a housing block, yes, housing blocks are never going to be that profitable. Even I don't think I've got an S housing block. I've got B's here, an A there. The A is still minus 10 grand. Housing CC A. I've got A there. That's minus 13 and a 13.3 grand. Got an A housing there. That's minus 11 grand. So it's not going to help you get into profit really. But obviously it's going to give you the population, which may have a knock-on effect. I've not quite worked that one out yet. But in general, the buildings that I think are worth really focusing on are the farming buildings and the starport buildings, the trading buildings. The bar seems to be a drain in resources. Minus 25 grand at B. I haven't got one up to A yet, but I don't think I've even got one here. Definitely haven't got one there. So that's my kind of tentative findings so far. How do storehouses measure up at S class? Well, have I got one? Hang on. Not browser. turned off Excel. Let's put Excel back on again. I called those industrial. I haven't got one beyond B yet. I suspect they're going to be similar to they're not. I don't think they're going to be as good as farms because all of mine are in the 2 to 3 grand, whereas a B class farm is about 9 grand. So I don't think storage rooms are as good. I think they're a kind of a lower priority in terms of which ones to go for. They're A class. Actually, they're not too bad at A, so maybe maybe I'll focus on that next and see what that goes up to. Because at 27 grand in 26 and 27, so it's consistently quite high for some kind of storage unit in an auto-phase settlement. But it's not quite as good as a farm at A class there or there. So just below a farm, maybe. Yeah, definitely bars are happiness. If you remember, I made a short video about how bars seem to cap out our productivity. So we're not able to get maximum productivity with a bar that has certain upgrades. So for instance, if you take something like free drinks at the bar, it can cap out your productivity. And I suspect that can still happen, but we now have more things that we can add to our settlement. So it's probably better now because we've got 3 pages we can have. So if we go into our settlement now, view our status. We can't do it there. Let's use the quick menu. So here we have 6 settlement features, 7, 8, 9 settlement features in this base. We can have up to 18, so we can have 6 per page and 3 pages. So if you had a free drinks at the bar and it capped out your productivity, you might be able to get something else that kind of balances it out before it fills up. Whereas before you couldn't. Once you had it in your 6, you were stuck. Not that I don't think it mattered that much. But I mean, just because it caps off your productivity doesn't necessarily mean... I never find the door in this map. Just because it caps off your productivity doesn't necessarily mean it stops you getting it to S class. There was no way of telling because we couldn't get to S class. So anyway, I think that's me done for today. Thank you for watching. I've been Pharaoh. Travel well, and goodbye for now.